So today I've decided to make a video on self-harm. I haven't actually written anything down or thought about what I want to say really, because I wanted it to be very much from my own mind, kind of just having a chat rather than a sit down video where I've planned what I'm going to say. Self-harm, I feel like, is the most taboo topic in mental health still. I suppose when you've not been through it, it must be very hard to understand, but it's something that I did do when I was younger, and it's something that I used as a coping mechanism, and it's something that was just so hard. I had all these horrific feelings. The only way I thought that I could deal with those feelings is to harm myself. I don't know, I feel like this is probably one of the most difficult subjects I've talked about on YouTube before, because one, I don't want to be triggering to anybody else, because I know there's lots of people on YouTube who, or that watch YouTube videos who still might be self-harming, and so I don't want to talk about something that's going to really trigger people. But obviously if you do self-harm and you feel like a video about self-harm might be triggering, then I'd really like you to stop watching this video now. Two, because a lot of people that I know don't know that I used to self-harm, and a lot of people I know watch these videos, and so I suppose I'm just worried about being judged. And three, because I haven't really spoken about it in a long time. I haven't really thought about it in a long time. It's something that's not a part of my life anymore, thankfully, but it's something that I just feel is so important to talk about, and the only way that we can stop the stigma of things like self-harm is by talking about it. So I thought I'll talk about it today. So when I was maybe 13, I'd say 13 or 14, I started self-harming because I had these horrific feelings, and I couldn't describe them. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. Looking back, it might have been hormonal or it might have been whatever, but it was something that I couldn't cope with. I had all these emotions inside, and I felt really depressed, and it's the only way I can describe it, is that I just felt so unbelievably shit, and there was no point in life. I felt like nobody liked me. I felt like everything I did was wrong. Everything was just shit, and I really remember rarely feeling happy when I was in second year at school. I feel like people didn't take anything I said seriously, and I feel like when I spoke to health professionals, when I spoke to teachers, when I spoke to my parents about depression and that kind of thing, I don't think any of them really took me seriously, and I didn't know how to articulate how I felt either, so I felt like it was just all a big mess really. I actually have a diary that I kept from when I was that age, and I looked back on it a few months ago, and it was so devastating to read, because now I do have anxiety, and it's a very different type of mental health. I describe the mental health I have now as just terrifying, but at that I'm happy though. Most of the time I'm happy, and having that depression is just the worst thing, because nothing made me happy. I was just constantly sad, and every single day I just felt shit. There was just no other way to describe it. I just don't know how else to describe it. It was a really horrible, hard part of my life, and I remember, I don't really know, I used to watch YouTube videos when I was that age, but I didn't know about YouTubers. I would watch videos of people that self-harmed. I would watch you know those YouTube videos when you're 13 or 14. I don't know if there was YouTubers back in that time. I don't think there was. I don't really know. But I just remember when I was younger, I would watch those videos where words come up on the screen rather than a person talking, and it was about somebody else's life that was really hard and similar to mine, and I used to watch them all the time, and they were so triggering, but I don't know why I just kept watching them. It was I almost wanted to trigger myself, and it was so weird. I can't imagine myself doing this now. Talking about this feels like a completely different person I'm talking about, and it's actually really sad, because I think back on it oh, that poor girl, but that girl was me. It just doesn't feel like me. I used to, this is a massive trigger warning, but I used to cut myself, and I didn't use any tools. I used to just scratch myself until I was really, I had an injury, and I remember one time in particular, I felt so upset and angry, and I was crying, and I can't remember why, but I just felt unbelievably sad, and I knew that if I took out my emotions on my skin, it would be better. And I thought it was a coping skill that people were meant to do. I thought like going for a walk is a coping skill, I felt like, oh well that's great, but mine is self-harm. And I didn't get taught anything about self-harm at school. I didn't get taught anything about anything. Like self-harm, like to me, was just something that I did. I didn't know other people did, and I felt really alone in it, and I just thought it was, I don't know, I didn't think that it was a big thing. I would cut my arms, and I would cut in places where people could see, and I think I did that because I know a lot of people that self-harm, they always talk about like it's not for attention, it's not for a cry for help. But I think part of the reason I did it was a cry for help. I wanted people to notice how sad I was, and I wanted people to know I felt really depressed and I didn't know how to talk to people about it, and I wanted somebody to ask me if I was okay because I felt like nobody did and I felt like nobody cared. And so I did try and do it in places where people would notice, and there were certain people I wanted to see. I wanted my teachers to see, and I wanted somebody to ask me if I was okay, and I wanted to have therapy, and I wanted to maybe go on medication, and I didn't know what was available, and I didn't know that. I just thought I felt this way and that's the way I'm going to feel forever, and I didn't have any help, and I just, oh, it's so sad looking back because it's like, why did no one help me? But I mean, that's a really hard thing to admit, is that I think I did it because I wanted people to notice, and people that maybe haven't ever self-harmed or had a mental illness might be like, oh, that's so attention seeking, and maybe it is, but I just needed help and I didn't know how to ask for help, and so that's what I did. That's a really scary thing to admit on the internet, so please don't be mean about that. I can't really remember how I got out of self-harming. I think my life just moved on, and I just kind of forgot, like as those feelings got better for me, I didn't have the need to self-harm anymore. I remember kind of being self-destructive in other ways, like if I had a really horrible time and if my emotions just got too much, I'd like rip my tights, or like I'd do something that was quite destructive, but I wouldn't do it to my body. I don't know if that was just something that I just stopped doing, or if it's my emotions got better or what. I can't really remember because it was quite a long time ago. It was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I wanted to just share this, and I'm not being very articulate because I don't really know how to talk about self-harm, because it never really felt like I was doing anything wrong. I just felt like it was something that I just did, and it was just something that when I felt really depressed I'd just do, and it made me feel better. I didn't really know, I didn't really think about it, I don't think, but looking back now I can see how severe my emotions were, and I can see how severely I reacted to those emotions. I'm really scared about like uploading this video because I feel like it's something that's still got a massive stigma attached to it, but that's the reason I make YouTube videos, is because I want people to say either, wow, that's me, I don't feel alone, or people to be like, okay, I never thought about it like that, maybe I should stop bullying that person who self-harms, or maybe I should start thinking about other people who might self-harm, or I just want to try and raise stigma, and that's why I'm doing this. But yeah, this feels quite hard today. There are I'm going to be doing more videos hopefully on self-harm if this one goes okay and I actually manage to upload it. I want to do more misconceptions of self-harm and how to get out of self-harm, how to help yourself. I know I'm never going to tell you not to self-harm. If you're somebody that self-harms right now, I'm never ever going to say stop doing that. It's not, you're not wrong. Your emotions are just really, really overwhelming just now, and so I understand that's the only way that you see that you can cope. I'm never going to tell you to stop doing it because it's something that I can't tell you to stop doing. It's something that you do that has nothing to do with me. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to make some more videos hopefully on self-harm and to try and, in a more positive way, to try and help. But today I just thought I'd talk a bit about my experience of self-harm. I hope that it helped some of you. I hope some of you have taken something away from this. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!